Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me live, and then hello to everybody who is watching this later, this recording. Let me just make sure that everything is recording correctly. Okay, well, we are going to jump right in because this is our last week. So congratulations, everyone, for making it to the finish line, the final week of your first semester with us here at Full Sail, the final week of this class. It's very exciting, and I am looking forward to jumping into this content with you for the final week we have together. We're going to go over the couple of things that you have due this week, and then I will answer any remaining questions you might have. This session might end just a little bit early because it is the last week. So there's already a lot of things you know about the class and how it works at this point. And so mainly we're going to focus on going over the assignments and then a little bit of remaining content for this last week. So we are going to cover today, we're going to cover any remaining questions from week 3. So if there are any remaining questions, you can type those into the chat box or you can send me a message. If you haven't turned in your week 3 assignments yet, then you need to get a hold of me ASAP and get those submitted, because moving into week 4, there aren't any late assignments accepted because the class is ending. So when this class ends, it's important for you to know this class ends Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And that's also when your next semester and your next class starts. For most of you, that class will be Psychology of Play. And you want to be done with this class, wrap it up, submit everything, put a bow on it, tie it up neatly, do your best work and submit it, and then finish this class strong and move on to the next class and the next semester, knowing that you did great work in your first semester and you can move on with a clean slate to the second semester. So the next thing we'll cover are the assignments, your final speech assignment, and also you're going to be reflecting on the class. We'll talk about what that consists of, and then we'll go over the content, and then we'll have a final wrap up, and that's it. That's it for this semester of creative presentation. I don't even know where this semester went. It has gone by absolutely so quickly, but let me know if you have any remaining questions, especially those of you watching this later. Reach out to me, let me know, I will get back to you. I'm happy to help. So actually, I guess we don't even need this slide. I've already said, if you have any questions, ask those, let me know, I'm happy to get back to you. And so week 4, what does this final week look like for us? Well, this week is about formal communication, and these assignments are due Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is also when this class ends. So I will be grading your week 3 assignments as soon as possible, but you'll definitely have the grades for those by the end of the day on Friday, because we had that extra day for the holiday on Monday, and you'll get those grades back. And let me know if you have any questions, but if you haven't turned in the week 3 assignments, you need to make sure that you turn them in ASAP so you don't fall behind with these week 4 assignments coming up. So you have your regular Zoom meeting completion check. Go ahead and mark that off if you're watching this, whether live or watching it later. You have your 4.2 learning checkpoint, and that is the content for the week. Make sure you're reading everything, watching everything. Then we have the 4.3 creative presentation reflection. We're going to reflect on the class and the course content and what you thought of the class. And then your 4.4 award-winning speech assignment, which is your final speech for the semester. And then you will also mark off with a completion check your week 4 resources. So for your learning checkpoint this week, you're going to learn a little bit about how to deliver a TED Talk, but essentially that information is about how to deliver a speech and speech content and good practice. So make sure you're reading and watching everything, and then you mark that as complete. Then for your creative presentation reflection, this is a reflection you'll do at the end of the semester in most of your classes here at Full Sail. So it's self-reflection and also reflection on the class. And it's a good idea to reflect on what you've learned and what you continue to use for future classes, because this is absolutely not the last class in which you will have to give presentations and present your work that you're working on. So for this class, the course outcomes are to apply creative strategies to communicate ideas effectively, to identify content that is appropriate for a defined audience, to understand various presentation methods, and to demonstrate proper oral communication skills in delivering an effective presentation. And so this will require you to reflect on the course, and something that's really unique about this assignment that you'll be turning in is that you get to choose what format you would like to turn in this reflection. And that means that this assignment can either be a video of you reflecting on the course, a video with images that you have chosen, such as what you're turning in for some of the speech assignments, or it could be a written assignment. So it's really up to you how you want to turn in your reflection on the course, your thoughts on the course. So you need to make sure that you're answering all of the following questions. So think about, first of all, those course outcomes that we just went over on the previous slide that are also there in the directions of the assignment. But then I want you to consider and answer all of the following questions. So think about your expectations for the creative presentation course. Did this class meet your expectations? And then explain your answer. Think about what is your biggest takeaway from the course and explain that. What's the biggest thing that you took away from the course? It's okay if it's a bunch of small things too. And how well have you met the requirements of the class? What are you especially proud of? And what would you do differently if you could start the class over again? Because remember, as soon as this class ends, you're going to be starting that next class. So you're going to get a chance to start over again in another class. And how do you think the skills you learned in this class will help you in your remaining classes and in achieving your ultimate goals? So think about how these presentation skills and what you've learned about communication translates to your other classes, to your life outside of class, and to your future goals, because none of my students have ever been able to come up with a career path or career goals that require a career where you don't have to communicate at all and where you don't have to have any presentation skills at all. So you will be submitting either a short essay. Oh, and this actually can be just an audio file as well, like we did in a previous assignment. So that can be also just an audio file or a video covering these questions. So think about those course outcomes and then answer all of the questions that we've listed here. Make sure you're reflecting on all of them. So it can be turned in any of those formats. So let me know if you have any questions about this reflection on the course. So this week, the big assignment that we're going to transition to, that we're going to talk about, is your 4.4 award-winning speech assignment. So I'm actually going to suggest something a little unusual. And what I'm going to suggest is that you complete this award-winning speech assignment before you complete the course reflection, even though we've covered them in the opposite order, because once you have completed this award-winning speech assignment, essentially you have completed the course. You've completed everything in the course content. And so what I really want you to do is finish this speech assignment. This is worth a lot of your grade because it's the final one, it's the final presentation, and then reflect on it. Reflect on the course in its entirety and all of the assignments and get that submitted. But either way, you do need to submit both by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And I can't emphasize that enough, because this week we're really not accepting any late work because it's the final week of the class, it's the final submissions, and this is just the end of the semester. So with your award-winning speech assignment, you are going to pretend that it is 10 years in the future. Okay, so you're pretending that this is the you of 10 years in the future. Now, in this assignment, you are going to be attending, or you are going to be pretending that you are attending what is a real event for us at Full Sail, but you're pretending that you're attending it 10 years from now. So at Full Sail, we have what is called the Hall of Fame event. So this event honors graduates who have stood out in their industry for at least 10 years. So this is kind of similar to a homecoming week that you might see at other colleges. It's a week-long event with industry professionals, speeches, panel discussions, and it concludes with a formal award ceremony acknowledging this year's inductees for their impact on the industry. And so in order to be inducted into the Full Sail Hall of Fame, you have to have been in your industry for at least 10 years, achieving all kinds of success. So in this presentation, you are going to pretend that you have been invited to introduce one of Full Sail University's Hall of Fame inductees. So you are not only going to introduce them, but you should engage and inspire your audience by sharing their background and achievements. So it's not you that is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It is your inductee that is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So how do you know who your inductee is? Well, you are going to click on the links that you see on the screen. You're going to learn more about the Hall of Fame event. And second, you're going to learn about all of the different inductees. And then you get to choose a real person who graduated from Full Sail more than 10 years ago, who achieved so much in their time after they graduated that they're now being inducted into this Hall of Fame ceremony. And so I'm going to suggest, this is not a requirement because some of the degree programs are new, but I'm going to suggest you choose someone who has been inducted into the Hall of Fame who is in your industry. Now, I also think it's really important to see what things individuals are doing and what steps they took in order to get there over the 10 years it took them to achieve all of their success before being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I want you to think about those things and what steps you need to take after you graduate or even while you're here at Full Sail in order to achieve this kind of career success and to achieve these goals. Now, that's part of why I say, if possible, but it's not required, it's up to you, choose someone who's going into the industry that you want to go to. So do you pick someone who's going into a music related field or a production related field or a film related field or a video game related field, because then you can see what they're doing and what they're actually achieving. So this is a really cool opportunity to see not only what Full Sail graduates are achieving, but to really think about what you need to do to take those steps to get there from the very start of your career with us here at Full Sail. So it's important to think about all of those things while you're in school and actually after you leave school. But so for this assignment, let's go through the steps required here because I've kind of summed them up, but you are going to pick one real life person who has actually been inducted into the Full Sail Hall of Fame. So choose one. I'm suggesting you pick someone who's going into the career field that you're interested in, but it's not required. So you will write a script that allows you to formally identify the key points of your speech, a beginning, middle, and end, to introduce this individual. Now, I will be sharing a playlist in the follow-up announcement, and this playlist will have examples of this final award-winning speech. So you can see what this looks like because it does need to be an audio visual presentation. Now, it is not a video of you. It is a video with visuals and your voice narration over it. And again, take a look at those student examples that I'm sharing with you in the follow-up announcement to this lecture, because you'll see what this speech looks like in its entirety. So you're writing a script this time because this is a formal presentation. So you're writing the script out, and the script and your presentation, which is the speech that you submit, should include the following thoroughly. 1, introduce yourself and state why you were selected to induct this inductee. Now, we know that you're pretending it's 10 years in the future, so you can pretend that this is a colleague, a coworker, a mentor, a friend. You get to decide how you know this person because you're pretending that you know them in real life, which is why you were chosen to introduce them. So 2, tell the audience who you are introducing and why the person is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And you can use images from the Full Sail site and the Hall of Fame site and images of this inductee in your presentations to show us what they look like and show us some of the work that they are working on. You can show us images of, for example, video games they're working on, films they're working on, et cetera, et cetera. So you can also point out contributions and achievements, in a meaningful way. Let me see where, oh, I lost my place. So you can point out contributions and achievements in a meaningful way for the Full Sail audience. So when you think about this audience, I want you to think about all the people at Full Sail. So students, faculty, people that work at Full Sail in other capacity, people that are related to the people being inducted, people that are being inducted, all of those people are your audience. And we've already learned this semester that it's important to think about your audience when conveying this information. It also can be useful to think about what is the audience's takeaway? What are they going to take away from this before you introduce this individual? Now, also think about any award shows you might have watched in the past. We can think about things like the Oscars or the Golden Globes or the Tony Awards or the Emmy Awards or the Video Game Awards, any of these award shows, or even just award shows or even award ceremonies that you may have attended, such as at a high school or a college or a sporting event. If somebody's getting a really big award and they're really being inducted, how does somebody introduce them? And those can be good examples of the kind of content you might want to include. But you're also going to be including some really great visuals to go along with this as well. So like you did with some of our previous assignments, this assignment should be submitted as a video type assignment, but you are required to have both audio and video format for this assignment. So your delivery, your content should be 2 to 3 minutes long. You don't want to go under, because that's not a very long time to introduce someone, and you don't want to go over either, because you have a short amount of time to make an important point and you want to use that time wisely. So you don't want to have too much content, you don't want to have too little content, right? So you want to ensure that the images that you're using, remember, this is not going to be a video of you. So it's going to be images in a presentation format, just like we did with your previous speech. So you want to choose high resolution images, images that don't have a watermark, that are royalty free. And we are going to include that list. You can see it on the screen. You'll see it on the assignment directions that this is a screenshot of. We will include Full Sail images, links on the screen that you can use in this presentation. So use the presentation skills that you have been developing throughout this entire month, throughout this entire semester, to turn in and submit a really great final project. So you want to make sure you're falling into that correct window of 2 to 3 minutes, a 2 to 3 minute time frame to submit this presentation. Your concepts and ideas should be clear, and you should choose visuals that enhance your message. So remember, we spent a lot of time last week talking about visuals and creating effective visuals and how that looks and how that works out. So make sure you're focusing on that. Okay. So I've already said this, but I'm going to say this again because this is a video type presentation. I can't show you any examples during this lecture, but I'm going to send out in the follow-up announcement, I will send out a playlist that has a variety of student examples of students who have submitted this assignment in the past. You'll see the inductees they chose, you'll see the videos they chose, and you'll hear that audio narration that they chose to go along with it. So for your submission checklist, for this assignment, you need to include the following: a written script, and then your audio and visual presentation, AKA a video presentation, but I will take just an audio file and a visual file that lasts between 2 to 3 minutes. So you definitely do not want to forget to submit the written script, because that is a grade deduction for this assignment. So make sure that you're submitting the written script file and then your video file. I will accept both an audio file and a video presentation and a visual presentation, 2 separate files. But really at this point in the semester, you've learned a lot, you've worked on great projects so far, and you should be submitting a video type file. Now, remember, if you're creating this assignment in PowerPoint or Keynote or another type of slides type program, I am also going to be sharing out the Creative Presentation Helpful Videos playlist link. And in that playlist, there are several videos that show you how to save your file as a video. I forgot to mention Adobe Express. It is especially a great tool, free for everyone. I know I've said that this semester before. I swear I'm not being paid for that by them. I'm not getting any kind of kickback, but it's a really great free program, and it's really easy to create some awesome video type presentations in Adobe Express. Free for everyone, not just free for you because of your tuition, but it is free. You use an email address and sign up. So if you haven't tried Adobe Express yet, this could be a great time to try it, because you could use it not just for this class, but for future classes. And I know that Adobe Express is mentioned in the resources for the semester with some tutorials and guidelines as far as how to use that. I know it's mentioned earlier in the semester as well. So that is your checklist for this assignment. Those of you that are here with me live, do you have any questions for me so far about this assignment? I know I've been talking for a while now, so if you have them, you can type them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask them. And again, of course, those of you watching this later, send me a message through the class site or send me an email, and I'm happy to get back to you. Okay. All right, no questions so far. We're going to move on. So the content for this week, our week 4 content. Oh, we do have a question. Hold on. So the question is, can the speech be on a past inductee? So that is absolutely correct. The speech will be on a past inductee, and you will be watching their acceptance speech. You'll find out more information about them on the Full Sail website, Hall of Fame website, that is linked right in the assignment directions. So you're going to learn about the event. You're going to learn about the inductees. You're going to get to see their speeches, and then you will choose one. So it is a past inductee. I actually also like to mention, this is, and not that this was your question, because I can tell you're absolutely on the right track, but just an FYI for everybody watching this later, this is not you choosing someone to induct into the Hall of Fame. You're choosing someone who has already been inducted. So I saw a great submission presentation that was submitted, and it was on Lady Gaga, which, who doesn't like Lady Gaga? But she is not a Full Sail graduate who has already been inducted into the Hall of Fame. So don't just choose someone that you think would be a great person to induct into the Hall of Fame. It does have to be an actual past inductee. So I really appreciate you asking that question, so that I can remember to remind everyone about that. So for the week 4 content, we are going to be talking a little bit about formal speaking. So we've covered a lot of different types of speaking. We've covered nonverbal communication, we've covered visual aids. Now we're going to talk about formal speaking, like the type of speaking you will be doing for this final speech of the semester. So some examples of formal speaking include an award or acceptance speech, a commencement address, such as at a graduation, a eulogy at a funeral, a toast, such as many of us have had to give at weddings. I had to give a toast at my sister's wedding. I was the maid of honor. The presentation, or it could be something like a presentation at board meeting, or even a presentation to this class. So this video presentation that you'll be submitting actually meets a couple of those categories, right? You're presenting to the class, and you're introducing someone for an award. So some of the tips that we have: preparation is key. That's part of why you're going to be submitting a script this week with this assignment. You want to arrive early. You want to use professional speaking notes. And the best practice is if you can use your visual aid as your speaking notes, that's a great strategy. So because you don't want to be necessarily holding note cards as you're presenting. I want you to think about all the TED Talks we watched. Were any of those presenters holding note cards? Probably not. Then I want you to think about practicing so that you know that you're going to convey this information in exactly the right way. You do need to dress the part. There is a lot of science behind dress for success and dressing to be successful. And it turns out that if you dress professionally and dress up and feel your best before a presentation, that it can actually affect your internal body chemistry and make you feel more confident. And also with your body language, be thinking about conveying confidence, conveying poise, conveying preparation, the fact that you're confident that you're going to do a good job. There's a really great TED Talk if you haven't watched it already, and it is, if you type in Amy Cuddy power posing. So you type in TED Talk, Amy Cuddy power posing, and she talks all about how power posing for a couple minutes can help us feel more confident before presenting. It's also a good idea to think about the vocal toolbox that we learned much earlier in the semester, because that is really good information for you for presenting and preparing to give a speech. Let's see, hold on one moment. Okay. Now, tips for formal speaking on camera. So you want to make sure that you are making effective eye contact with the camera, that you record in a distraction-free and quiet space, that you use minimal background or virtual backgrounds, that you dress the part, and that you adjust your body language as necessary, and that you also think about the vocal toolbox. So I want you to keep in mind that this presentation, don't forget, you are not going to be showing yourself on camera. It's going to be visuals that you are choosing to attach to apply to the presentation, just like we did in the previous week. But there are going to be times where you are going to be on camera, just because that is now the nature of our world, especially post-COVID. This lecture is online, right? I am currently on camera presenting to all of you, but you will probably have job interviews in the future that are online on camera. You're going to have meetings that are on camera, and you do need to know more information about presenting effectively. Think about the background, think about what you're conveying, right? So also, we like to take a moment here at the end of the semester to think about the importance of reflection and reflecting on what you have learned throughout the semester, because you've turned in some really great projects, you've done some really great work this semester, you've worked hard, you've learned new content, you've started here at Full Sail. These are all big accomplishments. So it's a good idea to take some time to really reflect on that. And one of the ways that you can do that is you can use our old friend, the RISE model that we've been using this semester to really reflect on how you did, to inquire, to suggest, to elevate. I'm not going to fully cover the model again, because you know that we've covered the model already several times this semester. But the real goal here is to really think about the work you did this semester, think about the class, think about how you feel about it, and to incorporate that into your reflection. I know I talked much earlier this semester about the importance of having a growth mindset, or this idea that you're all here to learn, right? You're all here to get better. And sometimes that means incorporating feedback, or it often means incorporating feedback and thinking about, oh, maybe this is something that I would change in a future semester. Maybe I would start my work earlier in the week so that I wasn't scrambling at the end of the week to submit it on time, and so forth. So it is a really good idea to reflect on this course before moving on to the next course, because as I've already mentioned, as soon as this class ends, you're going to be moving on. You're going to move on to the next course, the next semester. So this is it. This is the end of the semester. This is our course wrap up. I can't even believe it. I don't know how this semester went by so quickly. I know we're ending a little bit early, but that's because this is the final week of the semester. So we don't really have any kind of course information to go over as far as how the course works or functions or how to submit any items. So these are the final assignments for the semester and then the final content for the semester as well. So don't forget, I am suggesting that you submit your final speech presentation first, as that's your last assignment, and then you wrap up the whole semester by submitting that course reflection. So your final speech assignment should be a video type assignment with both audio and visuals, and it requires a script. And then your reflection assignment, you get to choose. Do you want to turn in a written assignment, an audio file, or a video file? I can't even believe it. We are here at the end of the semester together. I know you've worked really hard. I know you've submitted excellent work, and congratulations on making it to the end. So don't forget, there's no late work accepted in the last week because this is the end of the semester. It's the end of the course. We're wrapping everything up. So I'm going to say to everyone, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful last week in the course, and best of luck moving into your next course after this week. Keep in touch with me. Let me know how you're doing in the future. And it has been my pleasure to have you in this, your first class here with us at Full Sail. So congratulations. Now, anyone who's here with me live, I'm going to hang out for just a couple minutes and answer any questions that you might have. If you don't have any questions, we are done with the content for the day, so you can feel free to log out as well. Thank you so much for joining me live. Those of you who have joined me live for every lecture this semester, I appreciate it. And then also those of you who are watching this later, thank you so much for being in the class with me, and message me if you have any questions. So anyone here with me live, do any of you have any questions? You can type it in the chat or you can unmute yourself. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful final week of the semester. I look forward to seeing your really awesome final projects. Thank you so much for being in my class. I hope you have a great final week and a great start to your next semester as well. Look out for my feedback on those week 3 assignments, and then look out for my feedback on the final week assignments as well. Have a wonderful week.